Imagine trying to run a marathon, but instead of running on a smooth, paved road, you are trying to run waist-deep in water. Every single step is heavy. Every movement requires massive amounts of energy. By the time you travel just 1 mile, you are completely exhausted. This is exactly what it feels like when you try to speak English by translating every single word from your native language in your head. It is slow, it is exhausting, and it makes natural conversation feel like a painful struggle. But today, we are going to drain the water from the road. Welcome back to Lucky English for Beginners. Today, we are going to explore the ultimate secret to fluency. We are going to learn how to bypass the middleman in your brain and how to start thinking directly, beautifully, and effortlessly in English. Part 1: The heavy suitcase of translation. When you first start learning a language, translation is necessary. It is the bridge you use to cross from the known into the unknown. But as you progress, that bridge turns into a heavy suitcase that you are dragging behind you. The human brain can only process information so fast. If someone asks you a question and you translate it to your mother tongue, think of the answer in your mother tongue, and then translate that answer back into English, you have done triple the work. By the time you finally open your mouth to speak, the conversation has already moved on. To become fluent, you must drop the heavy suitcase. You must learn to look at a tree and think tree, instead of thinking of your native word first. Part 2: Namming your world. The journey to thinking in English begins with the smallest, simplest things around you. Right now, look around your room. What do you see? A window, a desk, a phone, a cup of coffee. Do not create full sentences yet. Just practice walking into a room and instantly labeling the objects in English in your mind. Do this when you are walking down the street, sitting in traffic, or shopping for groceries. You are training your brain to create a direct link between the physical object and the English word, completely ignoring your native language. Part 3: The 5-day shadowing strategy. One of the most effective ways to stop translating is to move the language out of your logical brain and into your physical muscles. Participating in a focused 5-day English shadowing challenge is a brilliant way to achieve this. When you listen to a native speaker and immediately echo their words, you simply do not have the time to translate. Your brain has to abandon the translation process just to keep up with the speed of the audio. Over those 5 days, you build muscle memory in your mouth and immediate reflex recognition in your brain. You learn to produce the sound without processing the native meaning. Part 4: The power of mastering idioms. Translation completely falls apart when you encounter idioms. If you say, "It is raining cats and dogs," a direct translation into your mother tongue will sound like complete nonsense. This is why studying a comprehensive list of expressions, perhaps dedicating yourself to a massive project of learning 500 English idioms, is a secret weapon against translation. Because idioms cannot be translated literally, they force your brain to understand the concept rather than the individual words. When you learn that "under the weather" means feeling sick, you link the English phrase directly to the feeling of illness, bypassing translation entirely. Part 5: The 30-day immersion reset. Your brain defaults to your native language because it is a deeply ingrained habit. To break a habit, you need sustained, daily intervention. Designing and completing a 30-day English learning challenge is the perfect way to reset your brain's default setting. For 30 days, force your environment to be English. Change your phone language, read your news in English, and listen to English podcasts. When your brain is saturated with the language every single day for a full month, it realizes that translating everything is too exhausting. It eventually surrenders and starts processing the new language directly. Part 6: Engaging with deep narratives. If you are reading or listening to boring textbook material, your brain has plenty of time to wander and translate. You need material that captures your attention so completely that you forget you are learning. Immerse yourself in rich historical narratives and biographical content about prominent world figures. When you are deeply fascinated by the life of a great leader or the dramatic events of an ancient civilization, your brain focuses on the story, not the grammar. You get so caught up in finding out what happens next that the translation filter drops away naturally. Part 7: The monolingual dictionary rule. If you want to think in English, you must stop feeding your brain translations. From this day forward, try to stop using a bilingual dictionary, English to your native language. Switch to an English to English dictionary. If you don't understand a word, read the definition in simpler English words. When you do this, you are keeping your brain enclosed within the English ecosystem. You are solving the problem using English tools, which forces your mind to stretch and adapt without relying on the safety net of your mother tongue. Part 8. Leveraging AI and audio tools. We live in a golden age of technology, and you can use it to build your internal English voice. You can write out your own daily scripts or short stories, and then use AI text-to-speech technologies or voice cloning tools to generate high-quality audio of your writing. Listening to clear, perfectly paced audio of words you already understand is incredibly powerful. Because you know the context, you don't need to translate. You just listen to the rhythm and absorb the flow. It trains your ear and your internal monologue simultaneously. Part 9. The internal monologue. Everyone has a voice in their head that talks all day long. I need to buy milk. I hope it doesn't rain. Why did my boss look at me like that? Your goal is to hijack that internal monologue. Start thinking your daily thoughts in simple English. I am making tea. The water is boiling. I am tired today. It will feel very strange at first. You will feel like an actor playing a part. But if you force that inner voice to speak English for just 10 minutes a day, you are laying the foundation for true, natural fluency. Part 10. Accepting the fuzzy meaning. A major reason people translate is that they want 100% perfect comprehension of every single word. If they don't know the exact native equivalent of an English adjective, they panic and stop. You must learn to accept the fuzzy meaning. If you are reading a story and the author says, "The man walked into the dilapidated house," you might not know what dilapidated means. But if the story is about a ghost, you can guess it means old, broken, or scary. Accept that fuzzy feeling. Do not stop to translate it. Keep the momentum going. Fluency is about context, not perfect dictionary definitions. Part 11. Visualize, don't translate. When you hear the word apple, do not think of the word for apple in your native language. Close your eyes and see a red, shiny, crisp fruit. Connect English words directly to images, feelings, and memories. If you learn the word exhausted, don't translate it. Think of how your body feels after running a marathon. Feel the heavy legs and the shortness of breath, and attach the word exhausted to that physical sensation. Part 12. Talk to yourself out loud. Thinking in English is great, but speaking your thoughts out loud is even better. When you are alone in your car or taking a shower, talk to yourself in English. Explain what you did today. Argue with an imaginary person about a movie you just watched. When you speak out loud without a script, you force your brain to retrieve English words rapidly. Because there is no real person listening, there is no pressure. It is a completely safe playground for your mind to practice real-time retrieval. Part 13. Stop punishing yourself. There will be days when you try to think in English, and your brain simply refuses. You will be tired, and the translation habit will creep back in. Do not get angry with yourself. Do not feel like a failure. Your brain is trying to protect you by using the easiest path it knows. Just gently remind yourself to switch back. It is like training a puppy to walk on a leash. You don't yell at the puppy, you just gently correct the direction and keep walking. Part 14. The shift in identity. Eventually, to think in English, you must believe that you are an English speaker. If you always view yourself as an outsider who is just visiting the language, your brain will always rely on your mother tongue as its home base. Adopt the identity. You are not just someone studying English, you are an English speaker who is expanding their vocabulary. Own the language, make it yours. Part 15. The breakthrough moment. One day, something magical will happen. You will be watching a video or reading a book or talking to a friend, and suddenly you will realize that 5 minutes have passed, and you haven't translated a single word. You will realize that you simply understood. You might even wake up and realize you had a dream entirely in English. That is the breakthrough moment. That is the moment the heavy suitcase drops and you start running freely on the smooth, paved road. It is coming, my lucky learners. Trust the process and trust yourselves. What is one simple daily activity, like making coffee or driving to work, that you can commit to narrating entirely in your head in English today?